We recently experienced a solar storm featuring record-breaking auroras, and there were concerns about impacts on our electrical grid and all the technology that runs off it. Had everything gone down for a time, had the unexpected happened, how many of us would have been prepared? The same can be asked of us in our businesses, and today we'll talk about the importance of Plan B when it comes to success as an individual or in running a business. This is the Heart Body Business Podcast. Inspiration, tips, and tools for entrepreneurs seeking a more fulfilling type of success. One that stems from exploring and expressing their true passion and purpose and finding healthy ways to do so. All coupled with insights and action items to get a business moving in the right direction. I'm Steve, your host, and I invite you to learn more at heartbodybusiness.com. In areas at risk for hurricanes, we're supposed to have supplies on hand so we can survive at least for several days with our own food and water, some sort of backup power or batteries, flashlights, emergency radios, first aid kits, and so on. But of course, this makes sense for people living anywhere. There are tornadoes, snowstorms, earthquakes, and other Earth events, and even geopolitical events that can disrupt the life we're used to. And if we're entirely dependent on things running the same at all times, we're ignoring the one sure thing in life, which is change. We were hammered with this lesson in business in 2020, when society was drastically altered overnight, and so many businesses needed to adapt or they ended up shutting down. Adaptability is an important part of survival, but it's different from preparedness. It's about adjusting to a situation and making do with what you have. But preparedness is about what you have in those situations. The two work together. If you have more resources to work with when things change, you have more ways in which you can adapt. For instance, if the grid goes out for a time and you know how to build a fire from sticks, then more power to you. This is adaptability. But if you have lighters and fire starters or tinder, if you have logs cut already, or if you even have a backup power generator to keep the heat and stove running, then you're prepared and you can adapt in different ways. Both are super important. If you're running unlimited backup power, you want to rapidly adjust to the new situation and use as little power as possible, so you'll have it for as long as possible. Because of preparation, you have a resource in place, but you're also willing to change according to what life is presenting you. In a similar way, in business, whether as an individual entrepreneur or for those running businesses with others, we should always be thinking about a plan B in order to give us more opportunities for responding to changes in life. In a larger business, this might involve keeping cash reserves, finding new uses and markets for existing products, developing new products for existing customers, staying aware of alternative supply chain and distribution channels, making sure you have resources and contacts and procedures documented so you're not dependent on one employee being forever available, and so on. In other words, knowing ahead of time that things will change, not knowing ahead of time how they will change, yet preparing to do without something or someone you currently rely on. This doesn't mean losing focus on what you must be the best at. I'm not saying to run in a million directions at once, all for fear of something being different tomorrow. I'm suggesting the wisdom of being aware of new directions should the need arise, and where possible, having the resources to go down those paths. This last part is key. There are countless resources we can invest in, and yet limited funds for doing so. In order to continue our success today, we invest in resources that are actually used in our business, but we may stock up on them to prepare for supply chain challenges, or as I said, at least be aware of supply chain alternatives. And when we look at alternate pathways, we look at what else we can do with those same resources should the need arise. This is like the prepper who stocks up on things actually used in his or her daily life and rotating through that stock to keep things from going bad. In this way, he's preparing without actually spending extra money. He's spending more up front, but the same amount over time. For the individual who may even have a traditional job, some sort of plan B allows for the fact that we never know what's coming next in our employment. Yes, we could be fired, or we might become unhappy with our workplace, or the business itself could fail. But like diversifying our investments, we can diversify our income. We don't have to just rely on a 9 to 5. This is exactly why we see so many people selling their products on Etsy, or retailing products through their own Shopify stores, or becoming affiliate marketers or even network marketers, and so on. You might not be a fan of some of these channels, but the idea is diversification of income, hopefully expansion of income, and done right, it's also an opportunity to express more of who you are. Plan B can be something you have a passion for and a talent for and in alignment with your purpose. In this case, it's something you feel the need to bring to the world for more reasons than just money. And often with passion and purpose behind it, it's the place where you can do your best work and produce the most influence or generate the most money. Doing what we're here to do and becoming successful from it, whatever successful means to your deeper purpose, is a key of the heart-body business concept. Since many of us initially need to keep a job to pay the bills, Plan B is a great way to still pursue that purpose. And there's so much wisdom in having more ways to adapt to change. Because change, she's a-comin'. We all know that, so why ignore it? But there's another aspect to the heart-body business philosophy, and that is the association of fear to the past and of desire to the future. Both fear and desire send our energy away from our present moment, draining us of our power. Because of this, we should not prepare from fear. We should prepare from a love of protecting what we have, including our families, and from a love of both our highest selves and the world as a whole. That is a love of bringing forth that which we are here to bring forth. Preparation can be an act of fear, or it can be an act of love, where we've simply observed what resources are useful to gather, and we've taken action on that. And in my view, the energy we hold in pursuing Plan B is the reality that comes to us. We attract fearful things, or we attract beauty and success. Now, beauty and success is still relative to the greater world created by the collective humanity. Those living through a time of war versus peace will have different opportunities available to them. Same with those living through times of poverty or prosperity. But remember that many people became wealthy during the Great Depression. So within the greater context, we still paint much of our individual experience, and that is painted from within. So for today, I encourage you to think of your own Plan B. What else can you do with the time you have, or the other resources you have? What additional resources can you gather, including relationships with those who have other talents or resources of their own? What new markets can you reach with your existing products and services? If we do nothing, then our Plan B is to simply make do with what we have when change arrives. It is a decision, conscious or unconscious, to let fate unfold as it will, and not to bring more power into our own hands. To me, this is fine when we've made the choice, but I always feel we should reflect on things and make a conscious choice, playing a role in what we unfold. But for those of us with the time and energy, why not reveal more of who we are, while at the same time providing more opportunities as we move through change? On this note, I encourage reflecting on and acting on a plan B. We haven't seen the last solar storm. We haven't seen the last of severe weather. We haven't seen the last of changes in politics, economies, or even our local communities. Life is change, and I encourage you to embrace life as it really is, setting the stage for your own highest expression and your own highest form of success. Till next time, thanks for listening, and if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe. You can also join our mailing list to get alerts on our latest episodes and other tips, tools, and news. Learn more and sign up at heartbodybusiness.com.